pick this thing up, and I pick it up towards the head of the abalone, and I'll show you that in a minute. And you cut around. This will all be discarded. Go around, cut this baby around. It's all coming off here. It's a big abalone, has a lot of meat in it. If the sac here, that actually gonad, had been brown or beige, it would have been a boy. Discard this. And actually, this is the head of it here. You can see the abalone has a mouth. There's his mouth right there. Her mouth. They graze. They eat kelp. You can see the eyes. If you look there, you can see little eyes right there. I don't know if you can see that. And they have some actually tentacles here, but there's some little eyes. They're just the big snails, what I should say. So here's the abalone. Now the first thing you have to do is remove the mouth area and the head. Just go down 1.5 inches or so and go over on this one and go up. This is discarded. Then I have the shell here. It's very important to have some water with you, and I always have the water. Next thing you do is you remove the skirt. This is the skirt. Very edible, but you can use that for soups. You can use that for abalone wontons or about anything you wish. Slice off the skirt. You can scrub this off also. It takes a lot more time, but I still eat it. That's the skirt part. You can clean off the black, and it's very, very good. You can freeze that, then the black will just actually wipe off. But you have to remove the skirt. And people see me doing this think I'm actually wasting a lot. I'm really not, because I do eat this. So you can spend hours on an abalone, but you can see how sharp this knife is. I have 3 good abalone knives. The other one's in the house. It's a great one. And basically, there's your abalone when it's on what you'd call a field dress, I guess. A little bit more here we're going to slice off. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to hose this off. Did he eat that? I'm going to clean this off. Run, Charlie, run. Might get wet here, Charlie. It's a big abalone. You can see it was a huge foot to it. All they are, they're a stomach and a foot. They're a gastropod. That's the correct terminology. This one is looks very healthy. We just got him yesterday. We're going to eat him tonight. You can see this meat on the black market is very, very valuable. It's about $100 a pound, which you don't want to even consider thinking about doing anything illegal with an abalone, because it is a jail sentence, folks. You cannot transport an abalone like this. You can only freeze it in the shell, and you can only transport it in the shell. This one we're going to eat, so that's why it's out now. Then you can skin it. Now, other people can skin it out of the shell a different way. They hold the shell and they snap it, and then they skin it out. But I like to do it the old-fashioned way. I was taught this way, and I have not had a bit of problems in all these years. Just a little bit more time-consuming, but I didn't show you how we also check for pearls on these things. This one didn't have any. I could tell by the look of the gonad, but if you squeeze down that sac, you can sometimes find a hard spot in there, and I'll retrieve that and show you here in a second. And you can get the pearls out of them. They're very valuable. They can't be sold legally because they were taken with a fish and game license. Okay. Get that sack. Excuse me. Sack here. Here's the sack, and this is where you will actually find the gut pearl. You squeeze this down like this. If you feel something hard in there, it's normally a pearl, which is an imperfection because something has infiltrated that sac, and then the shell will start to produce, the abalone will start to produce actually nacre around it. There isn't any in there. And that's where they get the abalone pearls, the expensive ones, which you can't sell, but kind of. Okay, there's the meat. Now what I'm going to do is cut this in half this is the sole right here. And this one's so big that I really don't want to try to steak the whole thing at once. The steaks are going to be huge on this one, so what I'm going to do is cut it in half right here and steak it a certain way. And slice this off here. You can see that beautiful meat. There's just pounds of meat here, and you can see when you get an ab this size, it's about 5 times the size of a legal abalone. Now I'm going to slice off the sole. I go down probably 8 to 3/16 inches, and I go down, and I go down, and I go down, and I go down, and I go down. A little repetitive there in my talking, but that's what happens. Okay, here's one half of an abalone ready to steak and beat. I'm going to hose this off a minute and show you how nice and clean and white this thing looks. That's a nice looking piece, folks. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to steak this 2 ways. There's a different mode of thought on this when you steak these. I steak mine like this. I go down about maybe 3/16 to 1/4. I cut this steak. You can see this steak will probably feed a whole family. That is a beautiful abalone steak. You can see that steak is 8 inches long, 4 inches wide, and that's just huge. Now the other way that they steak them, my son does it this way. He steaks them this way, and I like my way. It doesn't make any difference. There's a different texture in the meat each way because the meat, you can see little lines, little fibers that run, and here's the other steak. So there's 2 ways we can do this. You can see that, I don't know if you can see that on film, but you have little lines going down there that's small little fibers that actually run through it. I smash them this way, and we also can beat it this way. Now, the other thing that I haven't talked about is some people will take a abalone like this and hit it with a bat or actually 2x4, and that's all they do. But I was trained this way when I was younger, and I've had such good luck I haven't changed. But I will show you how I prepare an abalone. Here's the steak right here. I try to use a abalone beater, or an actually meat pounder, and you can see the little head on this, just like you're going to do a Swiss steak. Lay it down there and you hit it. You can almost feel it relax when you hit it. That was the sole part that was next to the sole, and so it's a little more harder to beat. But you can see that steak. That's probably now, I would say, actually 10 inches. But that's a great steak. And what I do is I just stick them in the abalone shell, and that's how you do it. I'm going to beat this one. I'll show you how this one goes. It's a little smaller steak, so it won't take quite so long. That's also a beautiful steak, and but you don't want to break any of the state laws on this, because it is a terrible fine, and you're awfully silly if you try to do that, because there's a lot of abalone out there, and there's a lot of good diving around here, and it's just a great sport. And that's where I'm going to end this